My dad was an electrician for the city of Atlanta. He was stationed at the airport, but he was actually assigned to work on runway lights, and they had a whole team working on the lights this certain day, and they cleared everyone back out before they energized the power back, with the exception of they didn't clear my dad. Some people are probably familiar with actually plugging a lamp in the wall or a drill or something, and you get shocked, and that's like 120 volts. So it's actually, you know, that's enough to really hurt you and kind of stun you a little bit and really make you feel it. My dad got 19,000 volts. The very first memory that I have of my dad at 2.5 was my uncle picked me up and actually let me look through the window of the infirmary there at Grady where I could see him. And he was sitting directly across from the window where I was looking in, and it was a bed. So I could look directly across at my dad, and the only reason I knew it was because my uncle said, that's your dad right there. So if you can envision a mummy wrapped completely in bandages and all you could see is just the slit with his eyes, that's the first memory of my dad. And they told my mom, you know, it's still just a matter of time. There's just no way that a body could survive, you know, that kind of trauma. So as they began to cut the bandages off and were going to change them, they found that he was completely infected with gangrene. I don't really recall ever being told how many days passed, but he still didn't die. He was still hanging on. So again, they brought him back in and was going to, you know, kind of just clean the bandages off and check out and see what was going on. And that was kind of like the first stage of the miracle there, is because the gangrene was completely gone. And again, they were just, you know, speechless, because there was no medicine or antibiotic that could fight that. And even without them fighting it, it had been cleaned up, which, you know, of course, obviously, all of my family knew that it was the prayer that went into it. He was actually out of the hospital in 3 months. He was actually at my grandparents' one day, and my grandfather had actually had an older model, you know, probably a late 50 model Chevrolet pickup truck, and it was the 3-speed on the column with the gears on the column. So he told my dad, he said, let's go for a ride. So my dad got in the truck with him and they went for a ride. So when my grandfather got a little bit away from the house, he actually pulled the truck over and told my dad to get in the driver's seat. He said, you got to learn to do things for yourself. There, my dad, being right-handed with no right arm, began to drive a straight shift vehicle with the gear shift on the column. So using his left hand, he would drive, and he would use his forearm and kind of like the base of his hand to balance the steering wheel, and he would reach across and he would shift gears with his left hand. The miracle of it was that he didn't die. He did live through this, and he's been an inspiration for me throughout my entire life. It's easy for us sometimes to kind of think that maybe we weren't dealt the right set of cards in life. You know, our hand was not dealt properly, or the circumstances that come against us in life, they hold us down and they prohibit us from being successful, or even, you know, being able to make a good living or do whatever we want to do. But my dad was an example to me growing up that there was no excuses. You know, working on vehicles and mowing the yard and working a weed eater, doing anything in life. I mean, he just instilled in me the work ethic that there's should not be anything in life, regardless in your control, out of your control, that would prohibit you from being successful in life.